two, one. What's up? Welcome everybody to the morning podcast with Goober Studios. My name is Goober, and today is episode 8 already of the Journey vlog. We're making this happen. We're doing it almost every day. It's not a daily podcast, it's almost everyday podcast, and we're here with a cup of coffee. I don't even know what to call this podcast because it's so diverse. And on episode 8, I'm going to be talking about my fourth online venture and how it failed miserably and how I lost almost everything till today. So not everything. Now the first three venture episodes were about how I made it. This one is a total loss. So as I told you, this is the journey podcast, not the result oriented podcast. We're not here to talk about results. We're here to just talk about what happened. This is the real life case study of just what happened. I'm just sharing my experience, okay? This is my experience, and that is it. So, what happened? So, on the last episode, I told you that my pop culture store was doing great, and I sold it for a lot of money, and then I made a total of 14,000 in revenue. Shared that with my partner. Took the rest for myself. I bought some, cryptos. I took some of that money, and so actually, from that whole 14,000, I can't remember the math. Okay, it's a lot of math, but all I do remember is that um, from the money that I took back and put into e-commerce again. So a lot of the other money I invested in other areas. I put a big chunk into digital currency. I put another big chunk into my Dota 2, which, by the way, today they just released the new Kashi set, which I will be selling. Of course, I'm going to be buying it today. So any of you guys love Dota 2, I'm going to get all the sets today. So you better hit me up and buy something. Apart from that, the remaining money that we had capital left was about 2,500 US dollars that we're like, okay, we need a new e-commerce store. Let's think about something. So I wanted to switch it to stuff that solved customer problems. And we that's the remaining money we had left, which was a lot. Okay, it was better than anything we started. We started with zero, so uh, 2,500 to launch Natural Selection. Now, Natural Selection, as I told you, was like alternative lifestyle goods to save you from pending doom, right? Because it's the species that adapts is the one that survives. It's not the strongest, it's not the smartest, it's the most adaptable, which I thought was cool. The website is still live. You can check it out. But so we started this store, and this was about late 2018. We're in 2020 now. Yeah, around there. But one thing I did forget to mention was that there's a gap in the story that I was telling you in between the third venture and the fourth venture, which was in 2017. From what I learned from starting Culture House e-commerce, I learned how to, build an online brand and Facebook ads and get customers and make money through online advertising and all these things. And throughout that process, I actually launched a freelance service, which is Goober Studios. Okay, that's the name. That's what Goober Studio is. I was doing digital marketing agency work for design companies. So that was happening throughout 2017 till today. It's still going on today. I'm still, it's my main bread and butter. It's how I pay the bills. My e-commerce thing is my side hustle. What I spend every day, my 80% of my time doing is digital marketing for design companies. So, design, production, artist, whatever. Anyways, so that was happening throughout my e-commerce. So if you actually think about it, Natural Selection is my fifth venture. Goober Studios came during the same time after Culture House. So I'd say Goober Studios was my fourth venture in 2017. But what's interesting about that is that was never really the venture. It just happened organically. And at the time, I didn't even see that what I had started was something like a business. I was looking at it as a job. But then it actually became a business that solves a problem. and which is why now I'll get into that later. I don't want to can boggle you with too much information. Let's just stick to one thing. Now, natural selection, $2,500. Started a new store. It looks great. Everything's great. I learned everything from Culture House. I re-implemented it. I was way more passionate about natural selection. I had a way less few products, but I had a mission, and I felt like I had a higher purpose than just selling people pop culture products. This thing had a mission to like reduce environmental factors, alternative lifestyle, sell you good stuff that's good for your health, stuff that's let you go to the outdoors. Is very very cool. And the first thing I decided to sell was I tested out steel straws, but for some reason I didn't take it too seriously. I thought that I'm like, who? I don't know, steel straws, is this gonna work? Da da da. I just tested it out. I didn't make a sale. I didn't even spend that much money on it. But later, 6 months later, I hear a story of these two French guys who sold $50,000 in revenue off of these steel straws. And at that time, it had become totally saturated. Everyone had a steel straw. I was like, oh, that's too bad. Um, anyways, so I was scanning for products, and I came across because what I do when I try and find drop shipping products to sell is something that looks unique, something that when you see an ad for online, you don't think you're gonna find it in your local retail store. It's got like this kind of a unique factor that lets it trend online a bit. It looks special. It's a cool, smart looking gizmo kind of thing. And it's definitely uniqueness. All right. And I found this thing called the pocket stove. Now, this pocket stove, I wish I brought it here before shooting this video, but I didn't. This pocket stove is a little mini camping stove that it's like this big, and you can fold it, put it in a pouch. And what you do is that you screw it into your gas canister, and then what you'd have is a little stove, because the little pocket stove has like these hands that unfold out, and then you can put your plate or your pan and cook your stuff. So it's a portable stove that saved a lot of problems. It boiled water really quickly, and I thought it was great. So I started marketing it, and at the time, I didn't know how much you should spend on ads before you can rule it out. I had no one to teach me these things, so I was using my own intuition, and I think I would get too emotionally attached to a product, or rather, I would look at the ad data and think that I can turn this around, I can turn this around, I can turn this around. But I took that 2,500 and I spent it all on this one product of just ads for this product. I ordered the product. We shot our own video for it. Took our own photos. It looked great. It started making sales. Okay, I was selling. I mean, I sold like 80 pieces. Okay, that led to about over $1,000 in revenue in 1 month. Revenue, zero profit. I'd spent $2,000 on ads, or 3,000. I don't remember. Basically, it was like a $2,000 loss in ads. So I spent $3,000 on ads. I made 1,200 in sales, and I lost $2,000 to Facebook that you'll never get back. Now that was extremely crushing at the time, because I just felt like, wow, I can do all these things, but then I can't make a successful e-commerce Facebook ad product. Now, even though I succeeded with the claws and the Deadpool shirts, the Deadpool shirts didn't work for me on Facebook. It worked on Google and organic sales. It worked phenomenal. The claws started to work on Facebook, but I had to shut it off early because I told you customs were like blocking the product. So I was getting really demotivated because I knew I was good with ads, but then I could never find success like all these guys online that they make 100K, 5K a day, whatever. I was just like, why? Why is this not working for me? And it drove me crazy. And the more crazier it drove me, the more it made me want to keep pushing harder, because I was just like, no, I can't do this. I'm no different. What one man can do, another can do. And I just kept pushing, and I burnt money until I asked someone, I'm like, no, okay, I have to drop this. I dropped the product, extremely demotivated, let it go, and 6 months later, or around there, I can't. Timeline is really messed up. I can't. It's really hard to. I think no. The next product was either 8 months. It was in 2019. So I sold the pocket stove around December 2018 up to January, and then in around June 2019, I found a new product, a hydrophobic hoodie. Now, this was a hoodie that I have in my wardrobe that when I looked at the product video from the supplier, it's hydrophobic, which means that if you pour liquid on it, it'll just like zoop, like just slip right off. And that was really cool. It can even hold certain liquids. So there's another term for this. I'm not sure what it's called, but there are some clothes that prevent water penetration totally. This one was not like that. Water would penetrate, but depending on the volume. So for example, if it rained and you were wearing it, you'd get totally soaked. Okay? But if you opened the tap of water or spilled coffee or Coke on you, it would just like fall right off you like magic. And that was pretty cool. I was like, yo, this is gonna make some sick ads. And I made some ads and I ordered the product too. And what was crazy is that during that same time, I think this British Prime Minister, someone threw some drink at him or something. I don't remember, but I really don't know what happened. The thing was going viral because every time I'd look at the comments of my ad, it was mainly British citizens tagging Nigel Farage. Be like, Nigel Farage needs this. Yo, someone get this for Nigel Farage. Everyone just kept tagging him, and then I understood like, oh, okay, this is that's where I got the idea for the coffee spills because like someone threw a drink at this guy or something like that. I can't remember, and I was like, okay, let's just capitalize on that. Now the hoodie. So I'd lost $2,000. I don't remember. Oh, I I had saved money saved from Culture House that I didn't spend. I think it was about 3,000. No, it was about like $700. Um, so what I did was I spent that on the hoodie, on marketing the hoodie, and it also pretty much tanked. It was terrible. Um, I did make sales. I think I sold about 60 again. It was similar to the pocket stove. I spent maybe $2,000 on ads. I made $1,000 in sales. None of it was profit. I forgot how much I lost. I think I lost $700 to $1,000 in ads. It was terrible. Okay, it was so sad because in the beginning, before I launched this product, I had bought a program. So I found this dropshipper guy that I've been following for a few years, and he had a Facebook ads blueprint on how to make $100,000, a million in sales within 6 months, and that's what I needed to do. So I haven't told you this part of the story, and I'm thinking maybe I should leave this for the next episode so that you get a whole sum up of the pie of what was going on here. But I was basically, long story short, I was trying to make $250,000 in profit as quick as I can. So I was like, how do I do that? I found this guy, and he was really good at drop shipping. So I was like, okay, the best way is to find someone who's already done it and just do what he did. Modeling, basically. That's what you call that. I spent $250 on his program. It was great. Awesome blueprint. I used it, and within the first 8 hours, I made 7 sales. I made $270 in sales within the first 24 hours of launch. It blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. I'm gonna become one of those guys. And immediately the next day it just tanked. Like the ads just stopped making sales. I burned so much money. I tried to fix it. I tried to turn it around. It just didn't work. I spent like 3 weeks trying to. I went to the community like, hey, what's going on? And then the guy that I bought the course with actually replied to my thread after looking at my site. Like, this isn't likely to turn around. There's something wrong with your store. If you keep spending, you just might lose a lot of money. I'd recommend you fix that. And at that point, I didn't have proper payment gateways, so my conversions were like below 1%. It was an expensive lesson to learn, but I still don't know what was the major cause, whether it was the payment gateway, whether it was shitty product, whether it was my bad ads. Regardless, I had to drop it. I'd run out of money, and here again, 8 months later, super demotivated. After getting a taste of that glory, I was like, "Oh man, I lost a lot of money. The product sucked." And I just paused. I at that point I had said I give up. I give up on this. I don't understand. I'm not gonna waste any more money on this. A few months later, I'm back at it because I mean sometimes you need to give up in order to come back more alive. Give yourself permission to quit, and if you love it enough, you will come back. Now, a lot of people might say, "What?" Because I think there's a Michael Jordan thing is like if you quit, then quitting becomes your habit or something like that. But I'm just telling you from my personal experience. Every time I've given myself permission to quit, I've always went back and still done it. Giving myself permission to quit relieved a lot of tension of trying to like get it to work, and I'd actually like breathe it out. I'd release it, and then after a few days, I get bored, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm ready to go back. Okay, I'm ready to go back. I said I've healed, and sometimes you got to admit defeat in order to heal. Now this works for me. I don't know about you, but for me, I don't stop until I get to see the results that I want to see. So when I say I quit, it means I've temporarily quit, but I'm coming back. Anyways, I came back and I kept scanning for products. I I had no more revenue, so I waited almost a year, and fast forward to 2020, I hadn't done anything e-commerce apart from Dota 2 since the hydrophobic hoodie, and then in 2020, I was like, okay, it's time to make some money. You know, the whole pandemic thing happened, economy was going into recession. For some reason, I got super motivated. I was like, I want to make some money. What am I doing right now? I was working a lot, by the way, but I was like, it's time to make some money. And throughout this process, I was actually in the midst of trying to launch my own branded product that we were manufacturing locally. Um, but because of the pandemic, a lot of the ingredients for this product were getting delayed. So I was like, this might not even happen. So I can't sit around and wait. I need to make money now. Okay. I have a timeline. I have a strict timeline. I got to make $250,000 in profit as soon as possible. And I'll get to that later on another episode. I'll go in full detail. But for now, that's what I did. So I couldn't launch my new product. So instead, I was like, okay, I have $800 saved up, which I've collected over the years, and I'm gonna find a new dropshipping product. I had fixed my payment gateway, I had improved my store, so it's not like I was just stupidly repeating things. I would go, I'd research. I even paid for another program. I bought another dropshippers program, which was $29 a month. Super awesome. I wrote down all the course information and then I unsubscribed because at this point I have a lot of experience in e-commerce and dropshipping. I just needed to. I was paying for case studies. I was willing to pay to get information to see how he did it, so that I can see what my system is missing. And I have no regrets in doing these things. Okay, this is data. Data is forever. So I paid for the program and I started looking for new dropshipping product. And this is when I found the acupressure mat. Okay. This thing was the most triggering thing ever. And the thing is about me, every time I find a product, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the master product that's going to make me rich. Every product I find, every venture I start, I'm always like, this is the one. This is the one. And no matter how many times I say that, no matter how many times it fails, when I start a new project, I'm like, okay, this is the next one. So it's a little bit of a paradox, but at the same time, if you don't believe in something, why are you doing it anyway? Right? You have to believe in it. And I'm not like deluding myself. I'm actually convinced, like, okay, this is it. Oh, man, this is compounding information from experience and experience that provides me new insight. So I found this acupressure mat. What it is, it's like this yoga mat that has like all these spokes on it, plastic spokes, but they're very sharp that when you lie down, they stimulate your tensions and your nervous system, and they help release tensions and actually immediately relax you. It was a high quality product and it had a lot of great reviews online. So I trusted it. It solved back problems. And by the way, the case study that I paid for, the blueprint from this guy that made 1 million in 6 months, the product he sold was the posture corrector product. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. So I was like, yo, this is very similar. It solves back pains. And from my research, I know that back problems that people spend, it's $1 billion market in order to relieve back pain. It's a huge market. So I was like, yo, this is it. This is the one. My payment gateways are solved. I have a problem solving product. It's a huge market. I've got this. I'm going to bank in hard. Pumped in my money, marketed the thing. Um, I made a great ad, in my opinion. And I made 4 sales. I I forgot how much money I spent. I'd check it out right now, but I mean it's kind of irrelevant. I'm pretty sure I spent $1,000. Okay, and it tanked so hard. I made 4 sales. This was the worst, the worst in terms of revenue. It was just terrible. All of my other stats were great though, like the add to carts, the checkouts, but the sales were just so low. And I didn't know what was wrong because I thought I'd solved most of my problems. But now looking at it, I think it might have been the price that I put and the amount of reviews. And because it was a pandemic and my shipping time was like 25 to 35 days, and a lot of people were buying stuff online and they weren't receiving them. So they were too reluctant to like pay for it. They're like, I don't know, man. Like I haven't gotten my other product that I bought online. I don't know if I want to buy more products. This pandemic slowing things down. And lo and behold, it did. I still have, this was in May. So this was May 2020 that I tried to sell this mat. And still, those 4 sales that I made, 2 of them still haven't arrived. So the customers are all right. It was a bad call, bad call on my hand. It was a great product. I still believe in it. I mean, just might buy it for myself actually because there's no one to massage me. You know, I don't go to massages or anything, but I can feel my back just like tense. And I think this is something that's really great to have at home. So that's some good coffee. I just bought a new kind of coffee. There's no more instant. I got rid of that. Bought some French roast, some dark, intense roast. Anyways, the acupressure mat failed. And what's amazing is that a few days, so again, that was all my savings for 2020. So get this. This is we're now at present day. This was 2 months ago. I'd spent all my money, literally all of it, on this one product because I thought it was gonna make me rich. It failed. And a few days later, remember I told you I was trying to launch my own product, but the ingredients got trapped somewhere in Spain. My chemist calls me and is like, "Oh, hey, by the way, um, some lockdown restrictions have been removed. The ingredients are on the way, and you can place your order within the first week of June." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Here I thought this thing was going to be delayed until end of the year. Meanwhile, I can pay for it now, but I can't because I'm out of money. So the money that I've saved for this product has been spent, and now the product is ready to be bought. And I was like, wow, this is like some trials and tribulations happening here. But we worked around it. Okay, again, I have a partner. We still haven't placed the order, and today's July. I'm not sure what's taking so long, but I found a workaround, and I'm still in negative. I still owe some people some money, a lot of money, which I had to borrow to pay for my master's degree. So I'm also doing my master's throughout this process. I know you're overloaded with information. You're like, what the hell's going on? You'll understand one way or eventually. If you keep following this podcast, everything's going to make sense. Because it's hard to tell you the entire story without going back and forth. But right now, at present day, I am negative. I did lose $5,000 in total to natural selection. So natural selection has made me no profits. It's been I've calculated everything. It's been $5,000 just gone down the drain. And now my product, this eco-friendly product, it's a totally new thing. It would be considered my fifth or sixth venture. It's meant to launch this month. Is still pending. I haven't placed the order yet, but everything seems to be set. The logistics, the warehouse. I haven't made the store. I haven't made the ads, but we've planned everything, and it's just ready to move on. Now, how I made money to launch this product? That I just a lot of things I did. A lot of them didn't work, but eventually somebody pulled through, and basically I got someone to invest, um, and it can move forward, right? So I lost all my money, but then I worked hard to try and make up. So I needed to make up another $2,000, which was 50% my share of contributing to the startup, or $1,500. And I tried everything. I tried trading. I tried going on Instagram and selling consulting services for digital marketing. Because mind you, even though I'm losing a ton of money, I'm great at digital marketing. Gruber Studios is what I pay my bills with, which is why I don't care about trying to sell you anything, because I'm not trying to make money from this channel. I'm not trying to build a brand, a personal brand, and then sell you a course or sell you my services. Like, that's never gonna happen. That's what's crazy about this channel. That's why I'm so passionate. Is that all it is just me fucking just going on rants every day and trying to share my personal experience, because I believe there is merit in sharing your individual experience, because the more personal something is, the more universal it actually is. So if I'm telling you this story about how I went from A to Z, even though it's not relevant to you, even though my results, my experience, my insights may not be relevant to you, at the core of it, you'll be able to see how one guy did it. And then when you look at another guy, you read his story or biography, you'll know how they did it. And continue that, and you'll start to see the common denominators, because the more personal something is, the more universal it actually is. So that's the whole point of why this is being so transparent, is that is to I think we need that, because every time you look at people online or online stuff, it's this perfectionist thing that, okay, my content has to be great, or I won't post it. A lot of people say that. Or I'm not going to talk to the world because I don't feel like I'm ready. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't feel like I'm skilled enough to be sharing information. And it's true, right? Why would you start making videos and telling people about something you know nothing about? That makes absolutely perfect sense. But that's if you're selling something. If you're not selling something, if you're literally just sharing your story, whatever that may be, it doesn't even have to be an interesting, awesome. If you're just sharing your story and it's just there for someone to see and learn from, then there is merit in that. Someone can actually get value from just hearing your unique experience. It doesn't even have to be a success story. Sharing your unique experience can give people insights into the workings of the world, because we need more realism. Okay, because everything online is perfect. The gurus that you see, they're making money. They weren't making videos when they weren't making money, so you didn't get to see their growth. You didn't get to see, all you see is the spotlight, and that can be very destructive, because you think that that's way too high to achieve. I can't get there. I'm nowhere near these guys. But honestly, do yourself a favor and go look at Eminem's first rap videos that you can find on YouTube. You won't even recognize that it's Eminem. And it's the most humbling thing I've ever done, because I read his story and it turns out that the guy was a rapper for 10 years with zero success. He was a rapper for 10 years. So 10 years he failed. That's a decade before even someone liked his music. But look at him now. If you saw the first video of him rapping, he would have been shit. Okay, he was not a great rapper from the first day. Day one must have been terrible. So imagine the best rapper in the world, seeing him not even able to create rhymes. That just eliminates everything you think about talent. Okay, do that. Do that research. So yeah, here we are, present day. I borrowed money to pay for my master's degree because I had no money, and then the savings that I made for this, the $700 I saved for my eco-friendly product, was wasted on the acupressure mat. And just a few days ago, got someone to invest, which was crazy because what had happened was I was asking people to invest, but then they were very scared because I don't sugarcoat things. I told them how it is. I If anything, I tell them all the bad things so that when they come in, if they decide yes, they're fully aware of the risk. I don't want to oversell you on something that uh, sounds great and then it fails. Like I have no interest in buyer's remorse. So I couldn't get any of those guys to buy with me. They were too hesitant. I was like, it's cool. I'll find another way. And I just took matters into my own hands. And then I just got a phone call from my dad, and we were talking about a lot of random stuff. And then at some point, he's just like, when he heard about my venture, which he already knew about, but then, um, I never took his money. Just a few days ago, when we were talking, he was like, "I'll send you some money," and I was like, "Really?" Because okay, long story short, he wasn't willing to jump in this project because he wanted like documentation and stuff that I couldn't give him right now. Uh, and I told him it's better not because I can't give him the legitimacy, the proof and the paperwork that he needs. So it's better that I don't take his money because I'd never asked him to invest in this. Rather, he had money he wanted to use for business, and then he knew I was doing e-commerce. So he's like, "Whoa, what are you working on? Let me see." But a few days ago, he just decided he was going to give me money for no reason. He said, "Just use this for yourself investment." He didn't even say business. He didn't even ask for a return. He didn't want anything. He's just like, "Hey, listen, you seem to be working hard on yourself. Why don't I just give you some money as encouragement?" He doesn't even know that I owe people money. He doesn't even know that I have zero savings. He doesn't even know this podcast exists, and I hope he doesn't because I mean it's fine if he does, but I hope he finds it out later. Uh, right now I just like the mystery going on. Okay. And also I don't want him to worry about me and think like, oh damn, like my son is like struggling hard. Because I'm not struggling. I'm actually, I mean, things are stressful, but I'm content and I'm happy and I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. So yeah, he said he's gonna send me money for my own self investment. He's like, do with it as you will. Spend it whatever you want. It's just yours. And I was like, whoa, just like that. Boom, problems solved. I can buy the product. I can go and it's happening. We're gonna launch this product and all my problems are solved. So I'm gonna put all this money into this one product again because it needs it. Two, I still owe people money. And three, I have zero savings. So after I launch this product, we're going back to zilch, rather negative because I still owe people money. But here we are. The problem fixed itself, and it's gonna move on, and we're gonna start this fifth venture. We're gonna launch this goddamn eco-friendly product, and we're gonna make it work because I've lost so much, I've learned so much, and there's nothing is going to stop this at all. This is going to happen. There's no turning back. We're leaving nothing to go back to, and we're going to make sure this works because what one man can do, another can do, and I will make that $250,000 pronto. Whatever it is, we're going to make it happen one way or another. And I'm also gonna keep national selection alive. It's still alive. It's just I'm gonna work more on getting it to be organically relevant. Try and replicate Culture House. I'm gonna stop drop shipping for now, and I'm gonna focus on this one product that I'm gonna take to a warehouse, and we're gonna do fulfillment. It's branded by us. It's a whole different experience, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make that money. This is episode 8 ending. Thank you for tuning in, my number one live viewer. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. You have no idea what this means. And I hope you get value out of this. Look, I got a microphone, so I did improve my audio. At some point, I will get a camera. This is Goober signing out. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. And we are done, baby.